Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you back again to this wonderful channel. And as you know, it's Sports with Don Bogidon. And today, we are going to talk about the man everybody has been talking about. His name is Ruben Amorim of Manchester United. Yes, he is the man everybody has been talking about from the moment this season kicked off to the second game and to the exit from the Carabao Cup. And like you all know, on Saturday they have another game against Burnley. So today, a lot of things will be shaping on how we are going to look at Ruben Amorim and what they are doing there over there at Manchester United. Starting with, there is a lot of questions people have been asking about this guy. What is really going on? Some are asking who should be blamed. Should it be the players? Should it be Ruben himself, or should it be the management of Manchester United? The second is, should Ruben Amorim be sacked now, or should they give him time to either raise the team and move forward, or keep declining and take the team to a place where they can never recover? The third question people are asking are, how are the players playing to sack him? Are they playing to boot Ruben Amorim out? This won't be the first time we have seen Manchester United players play to boot out the manager. We have seen it before. So the question is, are the players playing to boot him out? And the last question will be, what is really, really wrong with Ruben Amorim and his formation? So, in all of this will guide what we are going to talk about today. So, starting with Ruben Amorim, like you all know, is the Manchester United manager, and he has come under criticism for a lot of things. One being his inability to flex that his back three, his inability to flex that 3-4-3 formation. We have seen it from last season up until this season. We saw where he finishing 15th, which is the lowest Manchester United has gotten since the Premier League era. The last time they have gotten to that stage, you have to go back to the old format around the 1970s. So, talking about Ruben Amorim, from the stats we have here, he has just won 24.1% of his game in the Premier League. That is less than 25%. That is not encouraging at all. 24.1 is a very abysmal record for a manager of the caliber of Manchester United. That means you haven't even won one quarter. You haven't even won one quarter of what people expect you, or what your fans expect you to win as a Manchester United manager. So a very poor one there from Ruben Amorim. So, and when you look at the stats for the games he has played in total for Manchester United, he has won just 35.6%. 35.6% of all the match of his matches in all competitions. And apart from Jose Mourinho and Sir Alex Ferguson, since the Premier League era, these four managers are the managers with the lowest win percentage. Ruben Amorim with 35.6%. Ralf Ragnick, the man we know with the formation of the 4-2-2-2, with 37.9%. Louis van Gaal with 52.4%, and David Moyes, who replaced Safegi, with 52.9%. An abysmal record there for Ruben Amorim. And talking about his games in the Premier League, he has played 29 games in the Premier League and has gathered just 28 points. That is so abysmal for a coach of the standard of Manchester United to have played 29 games and gathered 28 points. That is 0. 888 or 0.999 points. That is less than 1 point per game as a Manchester United manager. Recently, the straw that broke the camel's back was being knocked out of the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, by fourth division Greensby, Greensby Town. So talking about Ruben Amorim, what is really wrong with this guy? Who should be blamed? Who should be blamed? Is it the players? Is it Amorim himself? Or is it the management? But everybody has their own opinion about this issue. For me, I would say, first of all, we will have to blame the management of Manchester United. Yes, like I said, I will blame the management of Manchester United. Why? Some will ask why. Why? Because you saw what this guy was doing at Sporting. For you to have gone on to employ Ruben Amorim, you would have seen his games, you would have watched him, you would have seen the way he played at Sporting, you would have followed his games and see if this manager is really flexible with what he's doing there at Sporting. Your scouting team or whoever is in charge of your data analysis and employment would have watched this guy and seen how he used to set up his team. If he's a manager that can adapt and change things when it doesn't work, which is one. Number two, for me, I would have preferred the left, the man that took over after Eric Ten Hag, the legend that took over after Eric Ten Hag, to have at least finished the season before allowing Amorim get him to the club. Then number three, you can't give out this amount of money, 200 million, to go and buy players, and when the manager is spending this amount of money, you won't step up to even speak to the manager or make some rancors for him to even improve. So for me, those are the reasons why I will blame the management of Manchester United. Then Amorim on himself has the biggest blame. He has the biggest blame. One, people have been complaining about this formation, this 3-4-2-1 formation. It is not working. Do you have the players to execute this formation? Yes. Are you really executing it well? No. Is it working so far? No, it is not working. It is not working. You can't play up to 30 something games and no one could stand up and beat his chest and say, this is a game where this thing really worked. At the start of the season, we saw the way they played Arsenal. Everybody was like, hey, Manchester United is back. They are going to show this, they are going to show that. Against Fulham, it was a total mess up and meltdown. For me, I believe Manchester United is on the decline. And if care is not taken, they might find themselves in a place where they can't recover. This 3-4-2-1 formation is not really working. Amorim, to me, I feel, is not putting in what this formation really requires. We saw it throughout last season. Now, this season, you have been given 200 million plus to spend, and you have gone on to spend it on mainly attacking players. You bought in Kunha, you bought in Mbuemo, you bought in Sesko. These are the players that can give you what you really need. If Amorim is serious with what he wants to play, I don't see Manchester United finishing anything lower than sixth position. Lower than sixth position. You are now 16th on the table with just 1 point after 2 games. Maybe it's too early. Some will say it's too early for us to shout. It's too early for us to do this. It's too early for us to do that. But you guys to start early to say all these things before it gets worse. Before it gets worse. So Amorim should really, really work on himself and what he wants to do. I acknowledge the fact that, one, he really wants to be in charge of the dressing room. That's why he's moving out those players he feels that they will be a problem to him. Those players he feels that they might destroy the dressing room. He has really tried to move them on. When you look at the likes of Garnacho, who is going to Chelsea, Rashford there at the back, Anthony on his way to Betis, and some of other players who he feels like, oh, these guys are going to destroy my dressing room. I want to take charge. No problem. You are doing well on that note outside the pitch. But what really happens inside the pitch? What really happens when you guys play? So This is what people are asking. Amorim, how do you change this? Now, how do you change this? You have now gone to the market to buy the players you need. Now, how do you now change this? Look at the players that Manchester United have littered all over the place. They have like double of every position has every position have like double players in it. Look at the attack. Look at the midfield. Look at the defense. There is Euro. There is Delete. There is a Heaven. There is a Maguire. There is a Luke Shaw. There is a the injured Martinez. There is Lalo. There is Mazarawi. There is Dogu. There is Dogu. There is Diego Leon. These are defenders. In midfield, there is Casemiro, Ugarte, Maino, Bruno, Messi Mount, what's the name of this guy? Ahmad Diallo, Kunha. In attack, there is Shesko, there is Zexi, there is Chidobi. So a lot of players in Manchester United, and you can't really get the best out of it. Like I said earlier, this 3-4-2-1 formation is not really working, and you have to tweak it. It's not a must you will play a three-man backline. What happens to the four-man backline? I know. Now let's really discuss this Amorim formation and really see what is wrong with this. Now, for me personally, I believe that the main, or should I say, the section or the players that will really enjoy this three, whatever Amorim wants to play, will be mainly his defenders, and we have been seeing it. The likes of Euro, Delete, Maguire, even Luke Shaw. For me, if he continues playing with this three-man backline and with where he's playing Luke Shaw will play more than 30 games this season without going injured. Because what really um, happens to Luke Shaw is whenever he plays that left back, he always track in, goes up, come down, goes up, and when he does that in like 2-3 games, he feels his hamstring. But with him playing in this three-man back line, he doesn't have that much job of going and coming. He's just there sitting, maybe roaming from the midfield down to the defense line. So with that, you will see the likes of Luke Shaw enjoying it. Maguire has already been playing there. That seems like the best place he can play three-man defense. We have seen him with England too. Euro is getting building himself into the game too. Delete has as this season he has really been a masterclass to watch. Like the best so far after 3 games with Manchester United at the start of the season. It might be early, like I said, it might be early, but let's keep on going. Now, when you come to the midfield, that's where Manchester United really have a very big problem. Because with this formation now, you have Kunha, you have Mbuemo, you have Bruno. These are three attacking players. And they are not just three attacking players. They are three players who always want to have the ball. They are three players who always demand the ball. They are three players who always want to carry the ball. They are not like the players that always want to make those runs while you carry the ball to make those runs, create space for you. No, they are the players that like to carry the ball, you run and make the spaces for them to find you. And it's going to be a really big problem for Manchester United, because when you have those kind of players, how do you now make them work? Which is what we have been seeing at Manchester United. Now, having Bruno play that deep is a very big problem to this United team, because for the past 5-6 years, when you count the creativity chart, top 5 every season, you must always see Bruno Fernandes in the chart. And with that kind of player and the quality that he has no business playing deep with Casemiro. So if you are going to get this right, one of Kunha, Mbuemo, and Bruno will have to sit on the bench. You can't be playing Bruno deep in that kind of a formation. Now up front, you have gotten your Zexi, but your fullbacks, sorry, your wing backs, how then do they really operate? What is Amad Diallo doing as a right wing back? This was a player that really shined last season, playing as part of those two behind the striker and mainly as a winger last season after Bruno. He was the best thing at Manchester United, but now he's been relegated to the fullback. I don't really understand. Now, for me, I said, this formation is not working. Amorim, can you do another thing? There is a traditional 3-4-3 where you have three attackers. There is the 3-5-2. I will really explain all these formations. Now, let's begin with the traditional 3-4-3. The traditional 3-4-3 where you have your Maguires, your Euro, and your Delete lineup. In midfield, your fullbacks are there. The Dogu and whoever you are playing, maybe Dalo or Ahmad, Bruno and Casemiro. Then up front, you now have the left winger, right winger, and the number 9. Now, with this formation, Kunha is pushing up to the left. We have seen him play that formation there with Wolves. Mbuemo goes to the wing as a number 7. We have seen him do that with Brentford. You get? Now, the problem now is who now sits in the middle. Because this kind of formation, what it does is that if you are playing a Bruno Fernandes and a Casemiro in that formation, it will now give for Bruno that opportunity to roam in to that space created between the attack line and the midfield line. He doesn't have to play behind any two bodies up front. It now gives him the room to roam around that area. Kunha is there, Mbuemo is there, Sesko is at number 9. That area will now be Bruno's area to play. But if you are going to sacrifice that kind of a thing and Bruno is being paired with Casemiro, it will leave Casemiro to suffer in the midfield. Why? Because whenever Bruno goes up, you now have so many space opening up with only Casemiro there in the midfield. Will your full backs be ready to invert back into the midfield and help Casemiro? That is another thing, because your full backs will now be interested in flying up and flying down. Now, this kind of a formation really, really works if you are going to play Bruno in it. It will really work whenever Manchester United is on the attack, because you have your Kunha, you have your Sesko, we have your Mbuemo with Bruno all attacking, meaning 4 persons are attacking you at once. Now, when your full backs join in, you now beat 5 and 6 players attacking. But the problem is when you are being hit on the counter, how do you now defend? It now leaves you with a whole lot of space with Casemiro inside and your backline, your 3-man backline. So for me, if you are going to use the normal 3-4-3 with Bruno inside, if you must play Bruno, it means this won't really work. But the formation I feel and I believe that will really work for Manchester United if they really want to go forward is the 3-5-2 formation. If you really want to retain the 5 at the back, just play a 3-5-2. A 3-5-2, I mean 3-man back line, 2 holding midfielders, 1 attacking midfielder, 2 wing backs, and 2 strikers. That's the 3-5-2. You start with your 3-man back line. In midfield, you now play your traditional sitting midfielders. Bruno Fernandes goes in as a number 10. You now have your wing backs, whoever you want to play as your wing backs. Then you now have a Sesko and a Kunha, or a Sesko and an Mbuemo. What this formation does is that one of Mbuemo, Kunha, and Bruno will have to go to the bench. But with this, Bruno will always have to play. It will now mean one of Kunha and Mbuemo will have to come from the bench to effect this game. What this does, let me explain. Your backline is set. Your 2 sitting players will now be Casemiro and Maino. Casemiro or whoever. To give Bruno that freedom to do what he has always done in the last 5 years in the Premier League. What he has always done for fun, which is to provide the assist, to do all those things he always does. He will now sit in front of those two sitting behind in midfield. Then your fullbacks are ready to fly. With this formation, your fullbacks don't really need to always track back. I will still explain it. They don't really need to always fly back. All they really need to do is to help you in the attack. Now up front you have your Sesko, the number nine you really bought to play this season. Manchester United doesn't have any other team to play this season apart from the Premier League and the FA Cup. They are out from the EFL Cup. So there is no excuse of we are playing Champions League this time, we are playing Champions League. No, you play every weekend and sleep. Play every weekend and sleep. When the FA Cup start, not all the time. You play and sleep. So it affords you time to use these players and sleep. Now, if you are starting a Sesko and a Kunha has played as a supporting striker back there at Wolves. That's the beautiful thing. Mbuemo has played a supporting striker back there at Brentford. That's the beautiful thing. They will help you and support Sesko as the two strikers. If you don't want to play those guys, you want them to come from the bench. That will give you a renewed energy. Two of them can sit on the bench while Zexi plays there as a supporting striker. Now, why I love this formation so much, if Amorim still wants to build or do with the three-man backline, is that you have five players attacking and five players defending. On the attack, you have your two-man front line. Up there, Bruno joins them as the number 10 playing behind, which is three players. Your wing backs of Dogu and Ahmad. This is where I would like Ahmad to play because this will now be this formation can really change because at the time Ahmad can run up, join both Kunha and Sesko and form a three-man attack. They can form a three-man attack. While Doku draws back, shifts Euro to right back. Maguire shifts in, and what is it called? Luke Shaw shifts in, accommodating Dogu, making it a four-man back line. If you want to change it in your game and still move forward, you can really change them back again. Like I was saying, you have five persons attacking you once from Manchester United. Now, when Man U is being hit on a counter, you have a Maino and a Casemiro sitting in the midfield. Even if you beat them, even if you beat Maino and Casemiro, you will still have a three-man defense waiting for you. You know, the biggest problem people who play with four-man defense have whenever they go on attack and being hit on a counter is that when your midfield is being bypassed, you are now faced with the struggle of just two centre backs. But in a three-man defense, if you are being hit on a tanker on a counter, sorry, and your midfield is bypassed, you still have three men defending the post. So this is why I'm saying if this 3-4-2-1 that Amorim is playing and if he doesn't know what to do with it, he should switch to a 3-5-2, which is more of a 3-2-3-2 formation. It will help him both in Manchester United attacking and defending. And there is this narrative being pushed that Maino should leave. I am of the opinion that Maino should not go anywhere because there is no player in that Manchester United midfield that is as gifted and technically gifted and talented as Maino in Manchester United midfield. If they lose that boy, they are really, really going to regret it. Manchester United are really, really going to regret losing Maino. What is the Amorim came the other day to say that the biggest problem he has with Maino is his pace. That's all. We saw players like Pelo play. We saw players like Jorginho in his prime play. And a whole lot of players who didn't have that pace. What is the pace of Santi Cazorla? So Amorim should really, really sit up because this is really getting out of hand. And I pity Manchester United fans because week in, week out, this is what you really get. So Amorim should really sit up. We are hoping to see what he can do against Burnley this weekend on Saturday. If this formation will really work, because for me, I don't think this formation is going to work. He should be able to listen to reasoning and wisdom. A manager that is not flexible, I don't know where he will go. Three man backline is not a formation that is sustainable. It's just a formation that you use to hit and grab, smash and hit, get what you want to get at the main time, then switch back to what you really want to the four-man backline. Even Conte tried it. He didn't. He won what he wanted to win with it, and now he's back again to the four-man backline. Tuchel did it with Chelsea. He's now doing it with England. But is it sustainable? I doubt. But will you use it to win anything? Yes. If I am a manager today and I'm going for a cup competition or a one-off tournament, I will likely switch to a three-man backline because with the options it gives you, it's just hit and grab, smash. But for a long time, will it sustain you for a long time is another question. So Amorim should learn on how to be flexible if he really wants to keep his job and if he really wants to um, push Manchester United back to their glory days. So this is it. That's it from me on what is really wrong with Amorim and Manchester United. So thank you if you have watched to this extent. I still remain your host, your wonderful host, Don Bogidon. And I urge you to keep listening to this channel. And thank you for coming on to this episode of Sports with Don Bogidon. So I hope to see you again. It's a goodbye from here. Hope to see you again, my people. Bye bye.